Hi, so here from Music Radar. I'm here with Sebastian on the Arturia booth, and we are looking at the epic MatrixBrute. Please just let us know where to go on this one.
All right, so MatrixBrute, it's an analog synthesizer, 100% analog signal path with lots of things in it. We have 3 oscillators, 2 complex oscillator with waveform mixing. You can have separate amount of triangle, square wave, sawtooth, sub-oscillator, and each one of these waveform has wave folding, wave shaping. So the sub-oscillator can go from a sine wave to more of a square, like a soft clipping of a sine wave. The sawtooth has ultra-saw, like copies of the sound, getting that kind of hyper-saw sound. Pulse width for the square. Metallizer is a wave folder for the triangle wave. So these, we have exactly the same oscillator for VCO1 and VCO2. VCO3 is a simpler design with just waveform selection, sine wave, triangle, square, and sawtooth tuning control. These oscillators can also be doubled as the LFO, so you don't have to use, you can use it as with a frequency divider, so that the LFO is division of the oscillator frequency. We have audio modulation, so VCO1 can modulate the frequency of VCO2, VCO3 can modulate either VCO1 or VCO2. Same thing with the filters, and the noise can modulate the oscillator and the filter. Noise source with different colors, white, pink, red, and blue, which are different type of noise filtering. So you don't have to use a filter just to get the noise filter the way you want. And all this goes into one big mixer here. So the oscillator 1, oscillator 2, oscillator 3, the noise and external input. So I can mix the volumes of each one of these, and then I can send them to either or both of the 2 filters. We have the orange and blue are the 2 filters, we'll get to that right after, and I can send to the first one, the second one, both, or none, and same thing for each of the different source. So we have 2 filters, the Steiner-Parker filter, which is quite close to what we had in the MiniBrute and MicroBrute. The only difference, it's quite a big one, but we have 12 dB or 24 dB slopes. So you can get different types of tones with that. There's the drive control for the input. There's the brute factor, it's a feedback loop, like we had on the MiniBrute. Envelope amount, cutoff, resonance, and the output of the Steiner. Same thing for the ladder, drive, it's a ladder filter, 12 and 24 dB, low pass, high pass, band pass, with the drive, cutoff, resonance. Same, the feedback, the brute factor, envelope amount, and the ladder output. These 2 filters can be either in parallel, like you can see here, or in series. And I have a master cutoff knob to offset the cutoff frequencies of both filters at the same time. Then we have 3 envelopes. One is on the filters, the other one is on the VCA, and the third one is free to be assigned. In fact, all 3 are free to be assigned in the Modulation Matrix. We'll see that right after. We have 2 LFOs with 7 different waveforms each, different retrig modes, so that the LFO retrigs every time you play a note, or it doesn't, it just runs freely. Synchronization with the sequencer, so also with the MIDI input. And to cover the voice, we have 3 modes here. Something I can't show you today. We have monophonic, paraphonic, and a dual split mode. So monophonic is the essence of the MatrixBrute. Sorry, was designed as a synth. As a paraphonic synth, you're going to be able to play 3 notes so that each of the 3 oscillators gets a different notes assigned. And dual split, anything that is sent to the Steiner-Parker filter will be on the upper part of the keyboard, and what is sent to the ladder filter will be on the lower part of the keyboard, so that you can play 2 notes at the same time, and it's almost like having 2 synthesizers in one. So you gotta have 2 filters, 2 VCAs, and you can route anything to both sides. The sequencer will be on the lower part, so you can have a sequence running on a bass line and then play a lead on top, for instance. There's also this big matrix. It's quite hard to miss. Has various modes of operation. Right now we are in preset mode, which means that I can select different presets by pressing the buttons. I can also use the display here with the arrows to navigate through the list of presets. There's going to be 256 presets, all user rewritable. The secondary mode of the Matrix is sequencer. So it's a 64-step sequencer. For each step, you can choose whether you're going to hear the step or not, change the note. You can activate accent, which will change the velocity output. You can activate slide to have a slide between the pitch of the previous step and the next one. And you can also automate this knob here. You can have an automation during the sequence of that parameter, and then it's another.
How many parameters can you run at this? Just one at a time?
It's going to be only this parameter, but you can connect it to multiple destinations with the matrix. Something we're going to see right now, because this modulation matrix is how you connect the modulation sources to the different synth parameters. So what we have here. What we have here are the three envelopes, the LFOs, mod wheel, aftertouch, velocity. So these are all modulation sources. You have 16 of them. And the columns are the modulation destinations. So we can see we have VCO pitch, the wave shapers of the oscillator 1, same thing, pitch of oscillator 2, the wave shapes of oscillator 2, cutoff frequencies of the filters, LFO amount, VCA. And these four columns can be assigned to any parameter you want by pressing a sign, changing a parameter, and now it's connected to that. So the operation of that matrix is that you select a source, for instance LFO1, choose destination, for instance the pitch, connect the two together, and now the LFO1 controls the pitch of the VCO2. And you have this knob here with a LED ring to define the amount of modulation of that particular connection, and it can be either positive or negative amount. So these are the three modes of the matrix. Then moving to the right of the instrument, we have analog effects, two types of delay, one stereo delay and one mono delay, chorus, flanger, and reverb, some kind of reverberator effect. So you can only use one at a time, but you have 5 controls over the effects: the delay time, regeneration, like feedback, the tone, the width, the stereo width, and a dry wet control. So we can look at the connectivity on the back if we want.
Yeah, let's have a quick look at that, and then we have to hear it.
Yeah, of course. So starting from here, we see MIDI in, out, and through, plus USB can be used either for MIDI or with the librarian editor. Then we have sustain and expression pedal input, synchronize in and out to send a clock from, say, a modular synthesizer or from a BeatStep Pro, for instance. Gate in and out to trigger the envelope or send a trigger output to the external world. An audio input section that can be used to audio signal can trigger the envelopes or just be fed into the mixer. You get input gain with a small rotating level. Input type can be either line or instrument volume, well, impedance, audio input jack, and then we have these 24 connections, 12 inputs and 12 outputs, which are CV connections to connect to, let's say, modular synthesizer or any instrument like a mini brute, which has CV inputs and outputs. So the principle is that the 12 first columns of the matrix have CV in and out. So for instance, with the pitch of my oscillator 1, I can connect sources from the matrix itself, but I can also connect, let's say, an LFO from a modular synthesizer from outside and plug it in, and the two are going to be summed together to get the final modulation of my pitch. And you can do that for all of the 12 modulations, and the outputs will send anything you connect in the matrix will be sent outside. So if for my first column I have, let's say, 2 envelopes connected plus 2 LFOs with different amounts each time, you're going to get at the output the sum of all these connections together. So you can really get expressive modulation signals to send to the external world just by using the matrix. I think that sums it up. So let's hear a few patches. We don't have that many right now because it's still the beginning, but I have a few I want to show you. So this is my 3 oscillators running together. It was me? No.